Earlier this morning, the nominees for the 88th Annual Academy Awards were announced. And for the second year in a row, the Academy did not nominate any black actors to any of the 4 acting categories.
The results are already triggering a backlash. The hashtag #OscarsSoWhite that trended last year on Twitter has been revived. This time, hashtag #OscarsStillSoWhite. Well, Gil Robertson, president of the African American Film Critics Association, joins us now from Los Angeles. Gil, you know, it's surprising that hashtag making the rounds again this year. A lot of people thought Straight Outta Compton, a fantastic movie, well reviewed, which is generally a criteria, but also made boatloads of money, didn't get any nominations except for Best Original Screenplay, and those writers of that film are white. What do you make of it?
You know, Vlad, it's very disappointing. It's very surprising considering that the film did do very well with the professional guilds throughout the industry. And usually that's a good indicator that a movie's going to also be nominated for an Oscar. So everyone, you know, is just wondering what's going on. Where did the disconnect take place?
Idris Elba had been forecast to land on the Best Supporting Actor list. What happened there, and how do you think he would have done? How do you think he would have fared against Sylvester Stallone had he been nominated?
Well, you know, I definitely think that this is Stallone's year. I mean, Creed was a great film, and Rocky Balboa is an iconic, classic, you know, image and character in cinema. I think had Idris won, he certainly would have, you know, given everyone in the race, you know, a run for their money. But it wasn't to be. I mean, Idris was nominated by several other organizations, but he just didn't make the Academy's list this year.
Yeah, Gil, what's the larger issue here? I mean, we can talk about the actors and their performances. I mean, Will Smith was fantastic in Concussion. We can go through that list, but what's the larger issue here in Hollywood and specifically with the Academy?
Well, I think it's really an issue of the makeup, the composition of the membership. Historically, the Academy has, you know, their members have been older, and obviously it's reflected, you know, it's the lens by which they are viewing films and evaluating those films and those performances. I think that under the direction of Cheryl Boone Isaac, who's the current president, they've made great strides towards diversity and including not only racial minorities but also women. So I think in the future we're going to see the Academy look more like this city and this country is starting to look, and I think that that will trigger a difference in the type of nominations we see when it comes time for the Oscars.
Any changes that you think that are needed within the Academy, within leadership to make that happen sort of more quickly?
You know, I mean, change takes time, and I think under the leadership of Cheryl and Don, they are definitely moving in that direction. And, you know, one can only hope that this will be the last year that, you know, we'll run into some, you know, some of these issues. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, the people who were nominated certainly deserve to be nominated. Everyone of those, all of those individuals involved gave fine performances and certainly gave their best towards their efforts. It's just that, you know, when you look at the big picture and you look at what other groups did, when you look at box office performance, when you look at indicators that normally point in a direction that would suggest that a film or a performance would get an Oscar nomination, it just makes it real questionable why this year we're back where we were last year.
Yeah, I mean, and it's, you know, it's also interesting. I was watching the Golden Globes, and when Sylvester Stallone won his Golden Globe, he went through a list of people. And to be fair, he did mention the director of that film, who's African American, and who actually pitched the idea to Sylvester Stallone to do Creed. He did mention him, but that was already off camera. But it seems, I think, for a lot of people, and I think the reason why this is trending on Twitter is, yes, there are incremental changes that are made in the system. Yes, Cheryl Boone Isaacs has been elected president of the Academy, but there's still such a long way to go.
Absolutely. And again, you know, to my point earlier, change takes time. I mean, Cheryl's done some great work, as has Don Hudson and the other executives who are part of the Academy's leadership. And I think that the pathway that they're taking the Academy will be continued beyond their tenures necessarily, and that we'll start to see improvement in terms of not only the composition of the Academy's members, but also in some of the outcomes with the nomination process.
Gil Robertson, thank you so much for your time and your insight. We appreciate it.
Thank you.